You are now tuned into the sounds of Big Nate Sports Talk. It's on all the time, anytime.
Tuned in to Big Nate Sports Talk, the show that is on all the time, anytime. And now, ladies and gentlemen, your host, Nathan Snell.
And as always, thank you, Mr. Anthony Handy, for that wonderful introduction. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is your host, Nathan Snell, of Big Nate Sports Talk Podcast. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you're all having a great week. September is here. Fall is almost in the air. I cannot believe it. We are almost towards the end of 2025. I cannot believe that. I don't know where the time has gone. Summer is gone. Fall is near. Before you know it, Thanksgiving is here, will be near, and then Christmas. Wow. This is episode 461. Before we get into the video, there's a few things I want to say up front. Maryland football this past weekend, the first win of the season. We'll recap that. This video is recorded. It is Wednesday. Hopefully tomorrow's Thursday, excuse me. We'll hopefully, if it's not tomorrow, we'll try to have that video recorded. I will try. Because they play NIU. I was saying that correctly? Yes. Obviously, getting closer to the end of the regular season for the WNBA. We'll do a playoff preview, 1 mind, 1 goal. We'll definitely bring that series back. And then college football, obviously college basketball will be here. Maryland women's basketball will be definitely focusing on them this year again. And then the Baltimore Ravens and the Washington Commanders. We'll talk about them as well. So stay tuned for those episodes. But again, appreciate all the support you're giving me and this channel. Appreciate the new subscribers as well. Please continue to support the channel. It's much appreciated. We are week 13 of WNBA, and we are so ever close as it is now at a point where it is either make or break. 4 teams painfully are eliminated from playoff contention, and then there were 3. And we're going to start with the 13th team, the Dallas Wings. We already know from week 12 they were eliminated from the playoffs. They did lose 7 in a row, and they've now lost 12 of the last 13. I mean, really not much to say. Paige Beckers, we all know, more than likely win Rookie of the Year. Their only victory since the 30th of July was beating Indiana on the 12th last month. They lost to Connecticut, Atlanta, Minnesota, and at this point, there's really nothing to say much. I believe this week they play Golden State in LA. They've been bit by the injury bug. Louisa, I cannot pronounce her last name. I believe she's still being evaluated. More than likely, I think she's done for the year. I believe it was her shoulder. I want to say it was the injury. But yeah, it's been the season for Dallas because my goodness. And number 12, the Chicago Sky. They've lost 4 in a row, and they've lost 15 of their last 17. But ironically, again, since Andrew is coming back from her injury, her fourth career 20 rebound game, the loss to Phoenix. She's actually the only player outside of Syl Fowles and Tina Charles. Syl had 7, and Tina's had 5 in the game. So she's still actually leading the league in rebounds. Ironically, if I remember seeing that stat correctly. Since the All-Star break, they've lost. They're 2-17 as I'm recording this video. They're playing Connecticut as I'm recording this video. Well, it's getting a little late here, but they play on the 4th. They play Connecticut. Then Indiana on the 5th. And then Las Vegas on the 7th. That should be interesting. So we'll see. And painfully, the Washington Mystics, we were officially eliminated from playoff contention. Listen, regardless, I'm still proud of these girls. I don't think the goal was to make the playoffs, but I think from where we were from last year to this year, and I think they exceeded expectations. And right now, I are going through a little bit of adversity. They've lost 7 straight, and losing to Golden State on this past Saturday was tough. But you couldn't ask for a better season. Soya Citron and Kiki Iriafen, they have been excellent. And they're still, to me, I think, are playing competitive basketball. But again, when you're a young team and you don't have the firepower, you're still trying to find. Coach Johnson has said this. They're challenging them to find willing themselves to win, and I think they'll find it. I think they'll get it together. I mean, losing to New York, Golden State, LA, those were rough games, but I don't think it's any better that we got to play Phoenix and Indiana. But yeah. Anywho, but I mean, for our record to win 16 games, where most people were like, I think they'll win less than 10. And when you have WNBA reporters, I should say, calling this, I'm not going to cover any Mystic games this year. And yeah, to see how they turn it around, we should be proud of this team. And I still think Cindy Johnson should get some rookie coach of the year votes, in my opinion. But that's what it is. But yeah, I was wrong on the Washington Mystics, but it's okay. It is okay. Number 10, the Connecticut Sun. They beat Dallas, and then they lost to Minnesota and then Atlanta. This is the first time since 2016 they'll miss the playoffs. This is we all know what this was coming into last year. Leah Leshin, who was the former first-round pick last year, I think who should be in the conversation for our rookie team. She had 22 points in the loss to New York. And then ironically, actually did the same thing on the win against Dallas. I still... Man, that's going to be tough. With LeCann, I don't know. Somebody's going to get knocked off, because I think she's now, as I'm recording this, she is 5th in scoring amongst the rookies and 2nd in assists, 1st in steals. Damn. I don't know. She's going to knock off somebody, but we'll see. But she's definitely been playing ball. Nisa Morrow more, and then Sinai Rivers definitely deserves some consideration for rookie of the year. Should make all rookie of the year, an all rookie team, excuse me. I'm going to make a strong argument for Tina Charles to make an all WNBA team. I know that the record will say otherwise, but for Tina Charles to put up the numbers that she has this year, and still being this efficient, I can't really say enough. I really think she should get some consideration for an All WNBA team. I know we have 2, not 3, but I know she won't get it, but she should get some consideration for it. But they do play Phoenix and Indy. I want to say, if I'm saying that correctly, which should be interesting. Yeah. And then number 9, the Los Angeles Sparks. It's gonna be interesting with the Sparks. I still think they won't. I still believe they will not make the playoffs. My only concern about the Sparks is they lost to Phoenix, Indiana, then they beat Washington. They beat us. And again, they had Seattle. They did well. Seattle had them, and then LA came back and beat them. I still think I don't know. It's just something about LA. They're not consistent for me. I'm sorry. Because as of now, because they played on the 5th, so that would make them. I'm trying to remember as of Monday. That would make 2 games back of 8th place. So and they have 6 games. 6 games in 11 days, something like that. So yeah, I don't know, because I think they would have to win. Yeah, somebody's not moving. Because Golden State, Seattle, Indy. Yeah, I know those over the last couple of weeks, those 6 through 8's been a revolving door, but nothing's. Those seeds ain't budging. I'm sorry. I just think a lot of it is just going to come down to their star, and yeah, that's just my opinion. Indiana, this was interesting. I mean, amongst all the injuries, Odyssey Sims, has looked good in her with the fever. Ariel Powers is with him now. They beat Seattle and the Sparks, and they lost to Golden State. Again, personally, I think they're going to shut Caitlin Clark down for the rest of the season and get her ready for the playoffs. I think by default, I think they could finish. I want to say, can they technically finish? I think they could technically finish. I think as high as the 4th seed. So more than likely they'll be the 6th seed. But if I'm not mistaken, I think they'll end up playing Minnesota. I want to say. No, I'm sorry. That'll be the 8th seed. My apologies. So, 6 seed's not bad. So they should be okay. But other than that, they're just kind of just at this point in the season, just limping along. They got Chicago on the 5th. They have us on the 7th. Yeah, so yeah. And then I put New York at 7. And again, New York has had an up and down year. And again, same thing like with the fever. It's the injuries. Stewie came back, but then Sabrina got hurt. And also, too, again, I understand that this team has not had a full, they haven't really fully meshed. With Niara, I'm kind of would like to know more about her injury, because the way that I think that has been perceived, I think they're not letting on more than I think it's a little bit more severe. I think they're letting on. I really do think Some of the losses is on Sandy, but at the end of the day, like it is on the play. Some of this is on the players. I do feel as though just like the smoke that was given for Vegas, uh, I don't know. I feel like they've had the personnel to win. But hey, look, this is what it is when you're trying to win, when trying to compete for a championship. And I think they have a little too much on the plate. From what I've seen, I don't think Sandy really knows how to really use Natasha Cloud in this offense. At times, Jonquel Jones when she was like in Connecticut. I really, really think not having Benijah Laney Hamilton out there, I really, really think makes a difference. And again, Stewie, Sabrina, and JJ have only played 13 games together. And they're 11-2 when the three of them are on the court. And I think I remember seeing the stats somewhere. They're 13-14 when one of them is out. So, but just saying, the same narrative when it came with Asia about quote unquote Olympians around Asia. I mean, I understand, but how can I say this? I still think you had personnel and the time that Stewie wasn't there to make it work. And I don't know, but they'll figure it out. But also too, personally, I think they're just resting their key players for the playoffs as well. Because they have Seattle next on the 5th. So that should be interesting. Really quick, I just want to go back and look at the schedule for Connecticut. I want to make sure, because I want to see something. No, their next game actually is Phoenix on next Saturday. Okay. My apologies. It is not. Okay. Yep, and then the Liberty and the Storm. Perfect. All right. Seattle, number 5. Number 6. Oh my gosh, why am I talking about number 5? The Seattle Storm. I had some trouble putting the Storm at 5. I could have made an argument for them, but Golden State really has been peaking at the right time, and Seattle also the same at peaking at the right time. I thought the electric slide 21-point comeback to defeat Minnesota, especially on a 5-game road trip. You really kind of have to give your hat to the Storm for that. They did win the last 5 of the last 6. And with that, they would have had a 2-game cushion over the Sparks. And they do have a couple things that I do think they have to work on. I do believe they lost. Hold on. I want to see something really quick. Make sure I saw that right. They did lose to the Sparks on Monday. And one thing I will say is Seattle has games like this where it's kind of like LA, for example. They'll have good games like that against Minnesota, and then when next game you don't know what to expect. That presser where Skylar, her hyperventilating like that, as much as I respect Skylar Diggins, and I know she really, really wants to win, and she is a competitor. But sometimes I think she's too hard on herself as a competitor. And I know this has been a conversation with her, but that was I don't know. That was a little I want to say, I don't want to, cringy is not the word, but like when, like just seeing her look like, yeah, no, I didn't like that at all. Cause I don't know if that was frustration. I don't know if that was her trying to, I don't know what that was, but to me, I get it. You know, she wants to win, and they did have a chance to win that game. But you know, they do have the Liberty, so we'll see how they bounce back. And then Golden State. They actually exceeded my win prediction. To finish the month of August, they went 8-5. Congratulations to them. And they're now what, 7? They've won 7 games the last 10 games. They've won 7 out of 3. They do have to play Dallas and Minnesota twice. They could actually get the 4th or 5th seed, but we'll see. For where this team, for an expansion team, where most actually kind of were like, well, most teams in their first year don't make the playoffs. I think we have to also understand, like, this team is made up of players that at one time were starters or 6 women. And also to credit Natalie for getting these players to buy in. Veronica Burton should be in the conversation for most improved player. I think she's what now leads the league in assists. I think she has more assists than her first 3 seasons, I want to say, combined. They're playing their asses off. You gotta tip your hat off to them. No doubt about that. So because I had them putting 14, 15 games. So congratulations to them. Well deserved. So that means now Portland and Toronto. Because this is the bar for now, because I'm curious to see where the Golden State will finish. But anywho, number 4, the Phoenix Mercury. Phoenix, they did beat. This was interesting. They do have. I'm looking at the schedule right now. They do have we have to play them. Oh my God, I forgot. Us and then Connecticut. They did beat LA, Chicago, and New York, and they won the last 6 of the last 7. We all know the big 3 is back. AT, we all know is an MVP conversation. I still think there are questions with their roster. I know last game Kalani Brown was out due to personal reasons. I like to know. I do have a question for Coach Tibbetts. Her usage, she hasn't seen the floor as much. I'd like to know why. But they're now at a 4-game win streak. Let's see. Kai, had 22 points, 5 3-pointers against New York. I think she's averaging almost 18 and shooting almost over 40% from 3. So, yeah. Oh, and by the way, I didn't see anything wrong because I was also finishing watching the Indiana and Mercury game. I did not have an issue with what DB did. I don't even know why. Girls on the court. That's the second time that's happened, but that's neither here nor there. I'm looking at the clip right now as we're speaking. So, anywho, but the Phoenix Mercury, I think, will stick right there. Honestly and truthfully, so because the way Vegas and Atlanta are, I think you have to hope that both teams lose a game. And I don't think that's going to happen, but we'll see. But before we get into the last 3 teams, let's take a quick break. We'll be back. right, and we're back. Number 3, the Atlanta Dream. After the loss to Vegas, and in the last video, I posted the post game interview with Ryan Howard and her comments in the loss to Vegas. And honestly, I was hoping those comments would carry it over in terms of how Asia's comments after the loss to Minnesota, and they played Dallas and beat them. Jordan Canada was back Monday in the win against Connecticut. But unfortunately, in terms of playoff seeding, they do need Vegas to lose one of the last its 4 games because Atlanta owns. Okay, with a tiebreaker, it's kind of so they're 3-0 in the tiebreaker series against Phoenix, which is weird. As far as the Dream go, they've won 10 of the last 13 games. I mean, again, the last 5 games are against the Sparks, the Sun, and they're all at home. So I think they can do it. They got I think they can do it. I think they can. You know what? No, actually, let me not. Let me hold off on that really quick. Let me hold off on it. Let me get to the last 2 teams. Number 2, the Las Vegas Aces. The Las Vegas Aces have an opportunity to do something that they have not done in a hot second as a franchise. They recorded their 12th straight victory this past Wednesday, beating Atlanta for a 3-0 series sweep for the potential number 2 seed. They could win if they win their 13th straight. That is a franchise record. But they did clinch a playoff spot, but they are in the sole possession of it as I'm recording this video. Asia, if I remember correctly, scored 34 points in the win. This week, it's a revenge game against Fee and the Lynx. If we remember, they put belt to ass on Vegas. Las Vegas has now had a week to prepare for them. I'm going to call it. The Las Vegas Aces are going to get their revenge on the Minnesota Lynx, and they're going to get the number 2 seed.
Guaranteed.
But the Vegas does own the tiebreaker against Phoenix because I think they're 3-1. So if they just have to win the last 4 games. They win all the 4 games to get the number 2 seed. But if they lose one of the 4, Atlanta gets number 2 seed. If that makes sense. It's weird, I know. And then number 1, the number 1 seed. The Lynx actually can surpass the 2023 Aces with most wins, because I think as of right now they're standing at 32 wins, which is possible, because actually let's look at the rest of their schedule really quick. Actually, we're going to look at really quick Atlanta's too. So Minnesota has Las Vegas, Golden State on Saturday, Indiana next Tuesday, and then Golden State next Thursday. That's a toss-up. I really that's a toss-up. Let me see Las Vegas. The Aces have the link. Well, they have the Sky Sunday. Okay, then the next Tuesday, they have the Sky and the Sparks as their last game of the season. Okay, what does Atlanta have? Damn, these last 4 games is kind of tough. They got the Sun and the Sparks. Damn, they kind of gave Atlanta the kind of a I think Connecticut is going to make it kind of tough for them because there's no way I can see Connecticut losing. Atlanta's going to lose one of these games, 2 of these games at most, because I can't see Connecticut losing to Atlanta twice, and I can't see them Los Angeles losing to Atlanta. I cannot see that. So it's going to be interesting. But I think the way I see it, I think it's going to be as number 2 seed, Vegas, and then Atlanta's the 3rd seed. That's just me. But yeah, I mean, as far as the Lynx, they would have what? This would be like in terms of their second best franchise record in terms of winning percentage. I think the last time since 2016. Because Vegas won 34 games. I don't think they're going to surpass that personally. Because I think those last few games, I think that's going to be interesting. I think they could split those games personally, in my opinion. But other than that, I mean, with 5 games left, 4, excuse me. I missed that. We don't know what to expect. But that's about it, honestly, at this point. And then we're getting ready for the playoffs. But that's week 13 of my rankings for this week. Week 14, and we'll take it from there. Y'all let me know your thoughts. Where do you think your team should have been ranked? How are you liking this season so far in terms of MVPs? My MVP rankings still stay the same. It's not really backed off. Honestly, it's not changed really since last week, but Asia, AT, Fee, Rookie of the Year, Paige, Sonia, Kiki, Coach of the Year, Coach Semesco, Coach Tibbetts, Coach Natalie, Coach Johnson, and so forth. Those are just off the top of my head. I meant to for MVP. I write to add Leash in there, and then I'm gonna put Ryan. I'm gonna get to all the all WNBA teams, all defensive teams. I'm gonna get that at a later date. But those are just the names off my head so far for awards at the moment. But for one final thought, do I have one final thought, AJ? No? Okay. I don't have one final thought. But that's going to conclude the episode, ladies and gentlemen. Please tune in for future episodes. Thank you for tuning into this episode of Big Nate Sports Talk Podcast. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you so much. Again, I appreciate the support you're giving me in this channel, and we will catch you on the flip side. For episode 462, will be out tomorrow, if not Friday, but you'll see the episode. And then you'll see Ravens, Commanders, Maryland football, and then before you know it, the WNBA playoffs are here. So have a good evening, and I hope the week is going well for you. Stay safe out there, and September is here. Time is going by too fast. Have a good night, ladies and gentlemen. Peace. Stay up.
Thank you for tuning in to Big Nate Sports Talk. If you enjoyed that episode, be sure to like, subscribe, and share Big Nate Sports Talk. It's on all the time, anytime.
And I want to thank you. All I want to do is say thank you.